welcome back to day number 2 of our course live recording from... We got Heather Torres here. My name is Sean Cannell. I'm so pumped that you're here. We're right in the middle of, we already did a day of our YouTube Hypergrowth Blueprint course. You're here for day 2. You're only here because you got a private invite and you RSVP'd. So Heather, the Chief Operation Officer of the Think Media team, is going to do a rundown of what's coming up right now. And we're going to start the first session for today in just one moment. But let me know where you're watching from, what you're sipping on. I'm finishing up a little bit of Nespresso here. Cheers. Tell us where you're watching from. Mel's in the chat. Kyle's in the chat. And we're here to hang out. Pumped. Heather, what's going on?
Awesome. Hey guys, how you doing? Oh, see, I sit down. I was noticing yesterday, Sean's like this tall and I'm this short. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm just going to half it there. Welcome to day 2. Does this look awkward, Kyle? Does this look weird? I'm like half up on the chair because I'm Shorty McShorty. Kyle, our tech guy, is here today.
I mean,
I don't know how to do the chair. I don't want to move his what is this called? His aesthetics or his alignment. Anyways, so welcome to day 2 of Hypergrowth Blueprint. I'll just be short. That's fine. Oh, I guess I can do this. What do you think? Okay. Day 2, Hypergrowth Blueprint. Welcome. If you are new, my name is Heather Torres. I am the Chief Operations Officer here at Think Media, and we are so excited to have you. We've had over 700 people so far RSVP for the event, and we're really excited to be sharing this content with you. If you were on yesterday, put in the chat day one crew. If you were here yesterday, it was so incredible. I mean, the comments we were getting, the things we were hearing from you guys in the community was amazing. We're so grateful that you are here today, spending time with us. Now, let me just give you a rundown if this is your first time with us on a live course recording. Here's how it works. We'll be doing these intermissions, like you kind of see behind the scenes, between each of the different modules that we are putting inside of the course. Now, Hypergrowth Blueprint, day 1 is already done. We're on day 2, and so we're going to be going through a couple more modules today and wrapping up the entire course. So you'll see us behind the scenes. You'll see myself, Kyle, and Mel in and out. And during that time is when I'll do some Q&A. So if you have questions, you can put them in the live chat. Melissa and myself will be in there the entire time. I'll either answer them while Sean's doing the actual training, or I will hold some questions that are really impactful for that module, and Sean will answer those, and those will actually make it inside of the course. So you can be asking your questions by using the question mark symbol, a couple question marks so that we know that that's your question, and I'll make sure to get that answered for you. Second thing, you want to close down any distractions. Yesterday we went for 6 hours, which is a long time to not be distracted. So we give you some breaks between then, and we'll let you know when those breaks are going to be happening. When you see the yellow card come up, that's going to be the end of Sean's training on that module, and that's when we're going to do a break. Some of our breaks are 5 minutes. Some of our breaks are 15 minutes, depending on 20 minutes, depending on what is happening between those modules. Are resetting in the back as a team and what we're doing moving forward. So we'll let you know the length of the breaks. If you need to grab a new cup of coffee, get some lunch or some dinner, we'll let you know when all of that is happening. And then lastly, yesterday, we went through our Hypergrowth Blueprint Personal Clarity Worksheet. If you're not a part of Inner Circle, you can still actually download that worksheet. However, day 1's done. So if you want to be able to get access to Hypergrowth Blueprint, the course, we'll let you know a little later how you can do that. But if you are an Inner Circle member, meaning you're part of our monthly exclusive private group coaching, it's a lot of words, but that's what it is, you actually get full access to Hypergrowth Blueprint. Kyle's already started the editing process on it, so it's going to be in your membership area very, very soon. And you already have access to the first printout that we've created for it, which is your personal clarity worksheet. All right, we are also going to be doing some YouTube Secrets book giveaways. I'm really excited about this. If you've read YouTube Secrets, drop in the chat and let me know. I'd love to hear if you have read YouTube. Secrets. How do you win a giveaway book? You are a participant in the comment area. Melissa and I will randomly select people who will win the books for this time. And then you send us an email and we send them out to you. All right. That is kind of my rundown. If you have questions, again, leave them in the comment section. Yesterday was fire. If you were here and you were a day one crew member, put that in the chat box so I can hear it. And we are going to get started in just a minute. Mel, are there any questions coming in right now that I can answer before we get started? Just throw a Mel in the mix here. Uh-oh. Is this, see? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Now get in the camera, please.
Mel, right over here. You're only half in the camera, Mel.
Oh.
There you go. Oh, hi. There's Melissa. Hi. Melissa is our operations assistant here at Think Media, and she is one of the peeps that helps us with Inner Circle. Kyle's here too. Kyle, you want to come introduce yourself?
What?
I mean, I'll introduce you.
Yeah, introduce me.
This is Kyle. He's on our tech team. He's the one that edits all of our courses and is second shooter and micro.
Shooter.
Yeah.
Micro.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Course editor.
Course editor.
Gwen says, after the first 2 hours yesterday, I couldn't find your next video. How can I avoid missing you after the breaks?
Oh, really great question. Okay, so how that works is when we're done with a section, we actually, because we're live streaming this on an unlisted YouTube video through vMix onto the page that you're watching, we actually take that video down and we start again with a new video. All you need to do is just keep refreshing your page and the new video will come up. Melissa always sends out an email right when we start also, so you'll be able to click through and you can see the new video coming up. It's all gonna be on the same page. You just have to keep pressing refresh. Great question. All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready, team?
Hypergrowth Blueprint Day.
Anything else, Mel?
2.
Day 2. Also, share on social. That was pretty cool. Yesterday, we saw some people sharing out that they were doing Hypergrowth Blueprint. And if you share it on social, tag this guy at Sean Cannell, tag myself at HR Torres, and hashtag Think Media, hashtag Hypergrowth Blueprint. Let's go. That's fun. I feel like I moved the what's it called?
Camera down.
Webcam's moved.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Got your, they wanted to make sure you had your chapstick and your face slaps were done.
I do. I think. Oh, trying to get a little color in there. It's looking good, I think.
Looking good. All right, round 1.
3. All right, Hypergrowth Blueprint. Great to see you. I'm fired up. You're fired up. I'm ready to go. Just want to shout a few people out in the place to be. What is up north? Creations, Lake Powell, Melissa, Arcana, Sister Sophie Art, AC Designs. Here we go. I'm fired up. Okay, so let me get my slides ready. And we're going to dive straight into our main session of today. 3 kind of modules we're recording today. 1 big one. And we're going to be getting into actually the 10 strategies of hypergrowth. And just sliding up. I got a lot of slides. Get your note ready, your mind right, your notes taken. Get your hypergrowth blueprint ready, and let's dive in. 3, 2, 1. All right. Hey, welcome back to the 4th. 3, 2. All right. Welcome back to the 4th module in the YouTube Hypergrowth Blueprint. Wow. We've gone through a lot of stuff so far. Your mind is probably exploding with the YouTube analytics, with all of the different strategies we've already been learning. But now it's about layering together everything we've learned into some very intentional strategies. Just to recap, right? We started out remembering that clarity is everything, starting with the end in mind and being purposeful, having a strategy, and then understanding how YouTube works. Because to really execute a strategy, it's nice to know the behind the scenes. How does YouTube work so that we can then layer on top of that? And repetition is the father of learning. So even in some of these strategies, you're going to see some overlap. It all kind of weaves together because it's tying into what's going to trigger the algorithm, what's going to trigger growth, what's going to cause us to get better results and grow our brands, businesses, income, and views faster. So here we are in our fourth module, our fourth section, session 4, 10 strategies for hypergrowth on YouTube. The number one secret for long-term success on YouTube, having a strategy and not just shooting from the hip and being random. The second thing, the foundation of hypergrowth, that is your worksheet. Now remember, even now, I want you to continue to fill this out, jot down notes other places, take notes and make notes. But all of the little things we could do right now without a good foundation aren't going to matter. You know what I mean? Like, it could be the most beautiful house you could put up with windows and paint, and it's amazing. If it's got a sketchy foundation, it will fall as soon as trouble comes. It'll erode over time because it's not built on something solid. Clarity. Be filling this out. And then in the next section, we talked all about YouTube analytics. So now we're going to get into the 10 hypergrowth strategies. Every battle is won before it's fought. What we're looking for in these strategies, right? The famous quote from Sun Tzu is, what are some strategies that we can actually say, okay, I can plan this now, make a game plan, execute on it, and then later I'll be able to, and then over time, I'll be able to reap the results. So that success might not even be a surprise, because a year from now, someone's like, wow, how'd you get here? You're like, well, I was on a hypergrowth blueprint. I started to make a plan and I've been executing it since then. Every battle is won before it's fought, making a strategy up front. And there's no consistent success without strategy. Clarity is king, right? This is some repeat. We're just recapping the course. Clarity is king, starting with the end in mind and filling out our hypergrowth blueprint. So here we go. Session number 4, 10 strategies for hypergrowth on YouTube. And here's the thing. All you need is one. The goal of these strategies are not so that you go, okay, well, now I got 10 things to do, 10 different directions to go at once. I want to remind you that even in my own career, I've been building this thing over years. And even before the 4 years of building Think Media and the momentum we're having now, there was roots even before that. And the strategies that I'm going to be sharing here are what led to the hypergrowth we've experienced. So they're proven, they're tested. However, to try and do them all at once would be foolish and ineffective. So I want to kind of put you in a mode where you can expand back, take some notes, maybe journal some, but your goal is to say, okay, based on my topic, my niche, what I'm doing, which one of these is best for me? All you need is one. So here we go. Strategy number 1, answer specific questions. Answer specific questions. What would I focus on first when starting and growing a YouTube channel? Like, if I was to start over from scratch today, what is it I would focus on? Answering specific questions. If you've ever seen this guy before, his name is Dave Ramsey. He's a multiple New York Times bestselling author, massively successful businessman, has created lots of influential brands, started his career really on radio 25 years ago, and now is one of the biggest names in personal finance and helping getting people out of debt. But in addition to that, syndicated radio, 12 million weekly viewers, syndicated all over 575 stations, is on the Fox Business Network. Dave Ramsey's killing it. Big team, big building out there in Tennessee, and he's doing some amazing stuff. How did he build his career? How did he get where he is today? Do you know what he does? He answers specific questions. And so he helps people with money problems, right? He answers specific questions. And to this day, what does he do on his radio show? Answer specific questions. And guess what? A lot of times they're the same questions coming up, right? Somebody comes in, hey man, hey Dave, I just got a big dent in my truck. And I was just wondering, like, should I buy a new one? And then Dave would be like, well, are you in debt? Well, yeah, I got some debt. Don't buy a new truck. All right, thanks, Dave, for the wisdom. Appreciate the, and that's like it. And then people are like, wow, like, it's so smart. Like, if you're in debt, maybe just stick with the truck you have. Don't buy, you know what I mean? But it's like, answer specific questions. And if you look at so many different people right now, Jay Shetty, 2018, had the most viral video on Facebook, the most watched video on Facebook. His YouTube channel is not doing too bad with 1.2 million subscribers. His goal is to make wisdom viral. And I looked at his YouTube channel and a few others we'll look at their top videos of all time. Before you waste time, watch this. Specific question about time management. If you're in a long distance relationship, watch this. Man, when you're in a long distance relationship and you're getting the feels and you're like, oh man, I miss them, and they're across the country and whatnot, guess what you're doing? You're one of the 3.4 million people that were watching this video, right? If they left you, what to do if someone leaves you, or just friends, whatever, or breakup. If you're confused who your real friends are. Ooh, that's a good title. I like that one. Whatever your relationship status is, what's he doing? He's answering specific questions. Mel Robbins, one of the leading personal development females in the industry right now, wrote the 5-second rule. What are her videos? If you struggle with anxiety, this mind trick, very specific. This mind trick will change your life. One brain hacked. Check this out. This one brain hack backed by science will change your life. The one reason you procrastinate, and it's not what you think, parentheses. I like that title too. The secret of stopping fear and anxiety that actually works. Are you getting some ideas here? Answer specific questions. Well, Sean, is it just for like personal development people and stuff? Nah, man, this is Bleep and Jeep. We featured their channel on Video Influencers a while back, and they help people with Jeep parts. What's he doing? How to notch tubing perfectly for cheap. Woke up today. I was like, how do I notch my tubing? There's a video for you. Is your engine overheating? 9 steps to solve the problem. That's a specific question. Bad U-joints, huh? How do I know if my U-joints are bad? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm going to watch this video. How do you choose your axle gear ratio? Tell me in the comments here in the members area if you know, but you know what I'm saying? Answer specific questions. And they built this Jeep YouTube channel, 277,000 subscribers. The more specific the questions, the better. Top Think Media videos of all time. What's the best video editing software? How do you get free stuff on Amazon? What are the best cheap cameras? How do you make money on YouTube? How do you come up with a YouTube name? Answer specific questions. Lindsay Albanese, how do you go braless? I ask myself that every day. How to hide your belly 7 ways, right? How to wear leggings the right and the wrong way, and how to wear crop tops even if you're not skinny. Answer. These are the top videos of these people, by the way, right? All of them. How to wear, it's answers to specific questions. Leaders of any major movement, any religious movement, have answered specific questions. Every religious text contains answers to specific questions. Who is God? What is the afterlife? How should we act in relationships? How should we behave? People would come, Jesus Christ, they would come to him asking specific questions. He'd give specific answers to specific questions. So a couple tips. Quora.com is definitely a site where you can go actually see what real people are asking. But what's also cool is this actually could be a big traffic generator for you, because you can answer questions with some words and also embedding a YouTube video, make an account. And it actually it's a major traffic source for entrepreneurs that use it in a smart way. Quora.com. If you're looking for what kind of questions are people asking, answerthepublic.com. Just a great site. You could get some different insights. You kind of have to dig. Some of the phrasing will be weird, but like, what's the public asking? What are people asking? And how can I create content that answers that specific question? And remember, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And one of our biggest goals is to get videos in search and suggested videos. So one of the easiest ways and best ways to do that is what's known as long tail keywords. So a long tail keyword, right, is when you have not just like how to stay motivated. That would not be a long tail keyword if you were doing like personal development or something. But I'm going to take us into the YouTube search window here. So if you were to say how to stay motivated, well, that is not long tail. And if you go, though, how to stay motivated to lose weight, that is a little bit more long tail. But if you go to how to stay motivated to lose weight and eat healthy, that's even more long tail. And the more long tail, the better, because it's going to be easier to rank for. And it's much more specific, because on the internet too, what people are looking for is often a specific answer. But when you say like how to stay motivated, well, what's your situation? What's your mindset? What's your circumstance? What's your background? What's your age? You know what I mean? So when you answer specific questions, sometimes the group asking that can be very small, but it's a great way to get ahead when building your brand and your YouTube channel and experiencing hypergrowth. If I was going to start over from scratch, I would answer specific questions. So what questions should I answer? If you haven't done this yet, put this in your strategy. You should answer the top 10 to 25 FAQs about your industry, your business, or your niche. Now, you might answer, maybe you already have a business, you're an entrepreneur, you already have FAQs on your website. Answer specific questions. Answer those in video form. And even if they don't rank in search or show up in suggested, they also become a tool that if someone emails you, hey, I got a question about this, you can reply with a video. You've already documented the answer to that frequently asked question. Now, all of us are in whatever industry we're in. You know, you just saw Heather on the Think Media team does a homeschool channel, so she answers specific questions about homeschool. Simply Sherry does a home decluttering and organization channel on YouTube. She answers specific questions about getting your closet organized. Dr. iHealth in our academy called Video Ranking Academy and our membership called Inner Circle is answering specific questions about contact lenses. And even if we don't have, like Heather doesn't have a homeschool business, but there are a lot of frequently asked questions about homeschool, right? And so you can go identify what are the biggest FAQs. A good starting place when creating content is to put out content relating the most keyword, frequently asked questions. Like a lot of people are interested in learning that. Next is go find 10 to 20 ultra specific questions from researching with the YouTube search bar or Google keyword planner. Keyword specific questions, like very specific, and questions from your audience. Eventually, because let's assume you're starting from scratch, well, you don't have questions from your audience yet. Answer the public, Quora.com, keyword research, making videos. Next step, get an audience. Now you got people watching. They actually will probably feed you endless questions for the rest of your life. Someone asked me the other day at a conference, hey, do you ever run out of ideas for creating content? And I said, absolutely not. I will never in my life probably be able to run out of ideas, because now that we have a community, the questions are nonstop. People continue to have more different questions, or even the same questions that we need to answer in new and fresh ways. So eventually get questions from your audience. And remember, one question, one video, because that is going to make it more related to search. It's hard if you were to say, well, how do I stay motivated, while at the same time saying, how do I stay productive? It's two different intents. So that could be two different videos rather than saying how to stay motivated and productive. Don't do that. It's fine if you do, but you're going to miss out on the opportunity of showing up in search or being more specific, because that's what people want online. And that's what Google wants to serve up. Google wants to serve specific answers to specific questions. And a power up here is don't ignore the mundane and practical questions. It's probably the next biggest thing that'll happen in whatever niche you're in. You are creating content, but sometimes we have a block. I've learned there's like a mental block between maybe some of the questions we should answer and what we want to answer. Like maybe I love strategy and what we're talking about here inside of this course, and thinking about business development and how do we really growth hack YouTube. But turns out those are never my most popular videos. My most popular videos are like, what camera lens is best for the M50? Kind of mundane, actually, and pretty practical. Friends, that is how we achieved hypergrowth at Think Media. Specific answers to specific questions that are also sometimes mundane questions and really practical and almost seeming obvious. And you might even say to yourself, why don't they just Google it? Well, they're not going to. And guess what? If you want them to Google it, don't you want them to find you on the other side? I think so, right? Specific answers to specific questions. That's what Dadverb did, Video Ranking Academy member. Best strollers, smart nursery tour, how to travel with a baby, newborn flight guide and tips, 250,000 views. That helped blow, that's a hypergrowth video right there, blowing up his brand for his videos and reviews for new parents, must-haves for newborns, connecting it to affiliate marketing, I believe generating $1 to $2 grand a month in extra income online, in addition to doing some video production that he also does himself. Crazy powerful stuff, specific answers to specific questions. Diana Gladney from Video Ranking Academy in our monthly membership program called Inner Circle. Her top videos are very kind of mundane questions that she has answers to. Honeycomb app quick review, how it works. Just a little quick review of an app. Got 40,000 views for her. PayPal here versus Square Card, 13,000 views. Panasonic G85 test with the autofocus hack. Will the autofocus hack work? So you're not just talking about camera, and you're not just talking about a specific camera, and you're not just talking about tips about this camera. You're talking about a specific autofocus hack that works on a different camera. And will it work on this camera? 8,619 people wanted to find that out. That's a very specific answer to a very specific question. These are her top videos. How do you create a Facebook page for business? Right there. Now, listen to this. She is out there to help people live their passion outside of their 9-to-5 job. And that is such a massive vision that could just be like, how do we live our passion? Review the Honey app on Google Chrome. You know what I mean? But it's helping her meet new people because it's a specific answer to a specific question. How to find the RSS feed for your YouTube channel. It's very specific, right? Now, quick caution here though, authority matters. Authority matters. I think there's something about figuring out, what do you have some experience in? What have you tested? What do you have real authority in? That is the place to start. And one of the things that I found interesting, again, I'm so passionate about talking about business development, personal development. In fact, you're here listening to me talk a little bit more about strategy, about business development, about vision, about personal development. Come on, you got to be motivated. You got to get your mind right. But didn't start here. And you didn't agree to be here meeting me cold turkey. We probably met because you were looking for a camera. You know what I mean? We probably met because you're like, how do I light my scene? Am I right? And so what did I start with though? I started with where I just had a ton of experience. I've been doing video since 2003. And my point is, I actually have ambitions to expand into even other areas, but video, one specific practical thing, was the door opener for hypergrowth. But staying in your lane. And I'll tell you this, I eventually want to, my biggest passion is more personal development and business development, almost like a Tony Robbins type of a vibe. But I had to recognize, okay, if I roll out right now, I don't want to ever say you can or can't do anything, and you can do whatever you want. So can I. But I was like, what's my authority now? Starting a few years ago. It's not really authority of like personal development, business development guru, because I haven't really done those two things at a mastery level. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use what's in my hand first so that ultimately I can access what's in my heart. But your authority matters. So where do you have some authority that you can use? And this is the authority bridge. So a specific niche plus practical questions, I actually believe is the best place for the majority of people to start. Dave Ramsey, specific financial questions. And now he's talking about other things. Chalene Johnson, she started with fitness training. She started with DVDs. One specific thing, Pat Flynn, if you've ever heard of him, he now is speaker, got his own event. He started with how to take your engineering exam. That was like his first big thing. He created a digital product and learned how to make passive income, how to take your engineering exam, right? And so what happens is you start in a specific niche, maybe very specific, and you answer practical questions. Well, then what happens is it builds a bridge to thought leader authority. And so think about how you can answer specific questions. People get to know you because you meet them at a specific pain point. But then that relationship starts and it can turn into a lot of other things. Chalene Johnson now is leading a global health awakening with the 131 method and teaches on marketing and business. But she started as a fitness trainer, her main thing and her background. You know, Dave Ramsey, leadership, personal development, entree leadership, 6 podcasts on the top 100. He started just telling people to cut their credit cards up and create a debt snowball. Right? And so same thing, it's similar to my story, but answer specific questions, even if they seem mundane and practical. So our summary here is plan 10 to 20 specific questions that you can answer. And those could be your next 10 to 20 videos or one of your weekly video series. Like you could have Tip Tuesday or Q&A Tuesday or something, right? One video, one question, one keyword phrase. Okay, so we just looked at that. How to stay motivated to lose weight and eat healthy is one video. Okay, so how to do keto, if you know, how to do keto diet and intermittent fasting, how to start keto diet and intermittent fasting. One video, like how to start, not how to sustain. Right now we're getting very specific answers, specific questions. One video, one question, one keyword phrase. And a keyword phrase would be that entire sentence of keywords that we learned from the YouTube search bar or Keywords Everywhere or somewhere else. And don't ignore the mundane and practical questions. So in fact, those could be your very biggest videos. For a lot of thought leaders that are known as thought leaders today that I see, their biggest videos are like how to make a quick video on your iPhone, even though they want to talk about like changing the world. Mundane and practical could be a massive door opener for bigger things. And authority matters. Start in your zone of authority and then expand from there. Boom. Okay, hey, that was kind of cool. I'm actually just thinking we got some good momentum here, but I want to have Heather just jump in on this one. We're going to do real rapid fire, but I'm curious. A few people maybe came in with questions related to this. And so let me know what you're thinking about specific answers to specific questions. Just want to shout out the fam here. When we switch to this angle right here, it's kind of like letting us know. Any good questions on that one?
Yeah, there was one question about...
I guess I could answer maybe for the... Well, the way we're doing.
This is one that would be... Yeah,
it's
all
good.
the other ones were good. This one would be one for this.
Okay.
Mel, my screen just locked. We're going to your comments real quick. Max, go back up a little.
Hey, Darren, good to see you.
Okay, go back.
The Hit Music Studio, great to see you, man. Good to see you.
This one. Right here.
One video, one question,
Yeah,
great for
we'll
teachers.
work it out.
Yeah, Life Before Eternity, great to see you.
I gotta shut this down real quick. And it's like stuck on this page.
All right, there's a question on the doc for you.
Okay, send it over on the Slack.
Yep, or on...
I'll put it.
So then this, Kyle, would go, we pretty much will probably put these into 10 different videos in the members area.
Yeah.
Okay. So this question is right at the top. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, I'll do that and then I'll keep going.
And then keep going? Okay, and then we'll break after the next.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, when it comes to answering specific questions, there are some questions that come up. And one in particular is a lot of these titles that you might find with keywords are really long. And if you use a tool like vidIQ, it'll tell you it's too long. What do you pay attention to? So something like vidIQ, which I love and I use, is a tool. It is a reference point, but it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to do everything it tells you directly, right? You have to kind of live beyond the system. So a good way to think about that is that even if you don't use vidIQ, or for example, if you use Keywords Everywhere, and that keywordseverywhere.com, make sure you install that. That's how you can see keyword volume. How to start keto is let's say we could say, is 150 searches a month. When you see these search terms, that is a good sign. So like how to start ketogenic for weight loss is 720 searches a month. So that is ideal that the search term has a search volume. However, I don't think that that should keep you from doing videos that don't like, and if we go even deeper, it says how to start ketogenics over here. Certain words may or may not, this is vidIQ on the right side of the screen, they may or may not show you like that there's any search volume to it. it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, is the point I'm trying to get to. So if I was in the health space and talking about ketogenics, I might say best keto foods. That's a proven 470 searches a month type of a thing, but it says for fast weight loss here, and it actually is saying there isn't any search volume, and it's saying that there's no search volume. There's actually quite a bit of competition, so you still may not want to do it. Again, on vidIQ on the right side here, and if it says the search volume 0, but there's high competition, your goal is high search volume, low competition, and that's where it scores the keyword. But nevertheless, this would still be a keyword phrase I'd want to go off after, or maybe not necessarily this one, but one that is proven. Because if it's predicted by YouTube, then people really are looking for it. But the other thing to know is that ranking is not going to always be so one for one. It's not always going to be so linear. That what you're doing when you title your video is you're talking to real humans. And so, for example, think about what actually ranks for this. Best keto foods for weight loss. It's not like the top video, everything you need to know about keto. None of them even say weight loss. This one does. So the top ranking videos don't even mention the weight loss, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like you need to let's summarize it. You need a good idea. You want to do some keyword research. You may find a long sentence, and the tools may say it's not very good. You need to read all of that data, but it's not the only thing that matters. You may have subscribers. You've got people on social media. The concept itself, the topic itself can really spread and impact more people. And so, yes, I would prefer to use keywords and have vidIQ tell me that this is a great phrase, but that's not the only thing I pay attention to. One way to think of it is if you've ever seen Star Wars, Luke was on Star Wars A New Hope, was going to blow up the Death Star, and he flew into this trench, and he was flying, and he needed to send a torpedo right through a specific area in the Death Star that would blow it up and defeat the dark side, at least for the time being. And so he's flying through, and he's got the tools on. He's got his goggles, and he's like, you know, it's like giving him what he's going to fly to. And then he's like, you know what? Oh man, I can't use these things. These things are limiting me. He pulls them off, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi goes, use the Force, Luke. And he's like, okay. And he's like, boom. And then he just goes with his gut. He goes kind of with his intuition. He goes with the Force, and he shoots the torpedo and blows up the Death Star without the tools. I've always thought of Keywords Everywhere, vidIQ, kind of like that. You need to know the tools. Masters do. Masters understand their dashboards. Masters understand those details. But masters also play at a higher level where there's a gut feeling. What video topic will really serve my audience? What should I be sharing even across platform, and base that on the research as well? There's the answer to the question. All right. Okay. Another question that comes up is, what if I've already answered like 10 to 20 questions? Should I reuse them? Well, if you've already put out good answers to some specific questions on your YouTube channel, you may not need to recreate them. I would encourage you to keep sharing them. If they are the most frequently asked questions, then look, people on the other side of Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, they're going to want to keep seeing those. So what we do continuously is we share on social media our old library content, because it is very much evergreen, or a lot of it is. The second thing I would say is that if some of the videos are not current, absolutely remake them. And so when it comes to one of our King of the Hill search terms, best camera for YouTube is best camera for YouTube, 18,100 searches a month. We're here in like the top, all the places. How is that true? I don't even know. I guess it's probably not on incognito, but we definitely are like the top 3, right? So what's the point? I do keep remaking this particular video because it's new each year. It's different every year. And I do that for a lot of different things. So does there need to be an update? And it's okay if you rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You know what I mean? So you could keep dominating some of those same questions, even if you've already answered them. But if you've already done your first 10 to 20 FAQs, move on. One of the things that in most of our niches, I would dare say all of our niches, if we are continuing to push into mastery, continuing to maybe stay current, stay abreast on the latest topics, the latest fads, the latest books, the latest research, we will have a never-ending well of things to talk about. So after you've done the first 10 to 20, usually questions cause more questions. Okay, I got the best camera for YouTube. What lighting do I need? Okay, how do I get views? It's like an ongoing progression. So yeah, work on your next 10 to 20 after you finish your first 10 to 20 questions. A couple videos for the members area. That'll be fun. All right, should we dive back into the slides? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. The second strategy is topics and trends. Topics and trends. And we're going to be going through my YouTube pre-launch checklist. Now, there's 4 things on the checklist, but right in the middle is where we can 10x our YouTube views. So first of all, let's review, where do views actually come from? Early on in the blueprint, we were talking about this, and traffic is views. So if we want more traffic, that's also what views means. So in our YouTube Studio Beta, YouTube Analytics, we can see our traffic sources type. Where are views coming from? Now, in this case, the top 2 for Think Media are always suggested videos in YouTube search, massive sources of traffic. And our goal is to get our videos found in search and showing up in suggested videos. Now, there's other features like browse features. That's my current subscribers watching, and external. That's like sending people from social media. So there's more than 4 ways to get views, but 4 big ways are external, sending people to YouTube from social media, or getting subscribers and then your subscribers watching your content. And then of course, YouTube search and suggested videos being major powerhouses if you use them correctly. And so external views come in like from, your blog or an email or social media, and you're sending that traffic to your YouTube video. Your browse features, right, on the homepage or on the subscriptions tab, that is where people that are subscribed to you are seeing the content, and then they have a chance to watch it. But the 2 most powerful sources are ranked videos, suggested videos, and YouTube search. And so definitely download this free software called Keywords Everywhere, because that is what helps us do some research and actually see how many people a month are searching for a phrase. And what's cool is that even with something like Keywords Everywhere, it'll show up across platforms. So maybe you wanted to even go over on Amazon.com and you could type in YouTube books or something like that. YouTube books for kids is 60 searches a month. It'll show you on Amazon. It'll show you on Google. Whatever your topic is, Keywords Everywhere just starts telling you the search volume of Keywords Everywhere. And what it's basing it on is the Google search volume. So that's saying that many people search for YouTube kids books on Google, and it's just telling you that number on Amazon. Nevertheless, though, it is a massive indicator of how much actual interest there is in a topic. So when doing your research, it's a great tool to use. So again, if we put in something like best camera for YouTube, this is a ranked video. That's a ranked video. Best self-improvement books. Tummy Time. Recently, Nicole from Inner Circle and Video Ranking Academy ranked a video for Tummy Time for newborns. And as a new creator getting serious about our YouTube channel, the video absolutely blew up. If we actually go and look at it, it's got hundreds of thousands of views. And so this is why you're one ranked video away from absolutely changing your life, your YouTube channel, and your brand. Nearly 500,000 views, driving your YouTube channel up to 26,000 subscribers so far. And this video has only been out for a few months. What happened? Using vidIQ on the right here, we can see all of the tags and the search terms that this video ranks for. Super, super powerful. And what ends up happening is, yeah, you can get massive views per hour, 137.7 views per hour happening on this video. Here's Techno Dad from Video Ranking Academy, 3 in Inner Circle, 3.8 views an hour on his home theater video. And he's got a home theater channel, making a couple grand a month off affiliate marketing, just crushing it, growing, serving people. And so why I loved ranked videos is because you get views while you snooze. And when we were putting out content, we recently went on a video influencer's book tour, and my wife went through 2 surgeries, and it was a really hard season for us with business and life. This was actually just over the last few months. I was traveling and speaking and trying to juggle everything during this season, but because we had ranked videos, we were getting traffic just every single day. And early on in the blueprint, we talked about this, that keep people watching forever, right? Like continuous views. And so that's all about suggested videos in YouTube search. And so this 4-step checklist is probably the biggest way to influence that. Now, again, we at a mastery level have a program called Video Ranking Academy that teaches ranking videos. But if you were to say, hey, kind of in a quick elevator pitch, what would you focus on getting a video ranked? This is what I would focus on. So the first thing is going to be your thumbnail. And your thumbnail tips here are things that you want to consider, like clear and not cluttered. If your thumbnail is cluttered, that's not good. It's going to be hard to see. You never want, if you confuse, you lose online. So you want clarity. You want to tell a story. You know, the story here is that this thing has a flip screen when combined with the title. There's an arrow to direct focus, eyes to direct focus. My eyes are looking at the camera. Photoshopped the flip screen in because we actually took this picture without the flip screen up, even though it was the punchline of what people wanted. So I had to Photoshop the screen into the photo. That was added in post-production. You can maybe tell now if you really zoom in. And it was just kind of a combination of things. So your thumbnail really matters because that's going to be sort of your first impression of getting some of the things that we've talked about in this course. Getting people to click. Your click-through rate matters. Getting attention, right? And so that's your thumbnail. Then there's your title. Your title and your thumbnail are like power twins. They're going to work together. So when someone looks up best 4K vlogging camera with flip screen, can we take a pause and talk about answering specific questions, right? Listen to this. This is not best camera. This is best 4K camera. But not just that, 4K vlogging camera. But not just that, with a flip screen. So we're talking about layers of distinctions here. What is the best camera? It's not a specific question, man. What's the best 4K vlogging camera that has a flip screen? Oh man, it's the Sony a6400 right now. Answer to a specific questions. But you want to work your title and your thumbnail together so every single word in my title and my thumbnail is intentional. And again, power tip, hyper-specific titles are easier to rank. In our first strategy, we learned about long tail keywords. And so every word has been architected and crafted along to pair with and be a power twin with this thumbnail. And the video has been crushing and getting massive results. In fact, just from search alone, and this video gets something like 18 views every 60 minutes. So it gets 27 views every hour, but YouTube search gets 66%. And this is us when we study kind of our real-time traffic inside of YouTube Studio. So by putting a hot topic out there, by putting a good title out there, a good thumbnail out there, this video ranks and it's meeting new people and getting search traffic, right? Now imagine having 10 videos like this working to build your channel while you sleep. Game changer, right? And so that's your title. So you want to stack these things. Before you launch a YouTube video, dial in that thumbnail, make a great title, then fill out your description. Now, optimizing your YouTube description is going to be mainly about supporting keywords, about putting good data that'll serve people, about other supportive information. And then there's going to be your metadata itself. And your metadata is your description, your tags, your closed captioning. And so description and tags kind of overlap. Those are both considered metadata, but your description, you want to have keywords in there, those search terms. Your tags, you want to have those in there. That's what these are. These are the tags of this video. And you can see where the blue numbers are vidIQ showing us where this video ranks. And then also when you do closed captioning beyond what YouTube does on its own, it makes it easier for Google to hear the very words you're saying. Why does this matter? Because you should be saying keywords. You want to talk in keywords. And they don't need to be literal, but you can imagine if Google read the entire closed caption file from your video, and you made a video on how to cook steak in the oven, and you never say that. Now, that probably wouldn't make sense because that's pretty obvious for you to say it. But then think about that along other concepts. You want to know what your title is, what your topic is before you ever press record. And then you also want to be able to say those things. So the closed captioning supports the very topics and things you're saying in the video. I would imagine in this video, I said something like, so what is the best 4K vlogging camera with the flip screen? In this video, you know what I mean? Like I said the title, but I already had thought through and researched before I pressed record to record that title. But those are just kind of the external things. They're very important, but they're built around the 10x views booster. They're built around in the middle. And what's the 10x views booster? It's your topic. Strategy number 2 is topic and trends. The topic itself is the needle mover. Why? Because we're talking about a camera that everybody wants to see, 1, or a lot of people. 2, we're talking about a camera with a flip screen, which is one of the hottest things that we want as YouTubers. Like people just go crazy for the flippy screen. Everybody wants the flippy screen. So that is a hot aspect. Vlogging cameras are hot. The flip screen is hot. And this camera is hot. So don't get it twisted. You might be titling videos well. You've got the best thumbnail ever made. The description is better written than Les Miserables. Your tags, every tag is a choice morsel picked out, perfectly researched. But if you do all of that to a topic no one cares about, or to a topic that only a few care about, well then hypergrowth is limited. Are you getting this? Because it's the topic itself that is going to create the interest. Of course, you got to have a good video behind it. You want a good thumbnail and good title, but if no one wants to click on the topic, then it'll never actually make an impact. So you want to align in Hypergrowth Blueprint. Remember, repetition is the father of learning. We're stacking these concepts. Content and audience alignment. What is your audience's highest desire? Like what one video, if the title showed up, don't even think about if you can make the video or not. Put yourself into no limitation mode. Okay, you got unlimited budget, unlimited time, unlimited everything. What video and what thumbnail, if it showed up in your subscribers' feed, even if you got 30 subscribers, would be no miss? They just could not click on it. You know what I mean? Their desire. Like there's things I desire today. You can think about so many different things. I've subscribed to all these different YouTube channels. One of my favorite clothing brands is called Zane Robe because it perfectly fits my tall, long, lanky body. So if they upload something and they say new whatever, it's a high desire for me. And I click through because I'm like, you're the only brand that truly fits my body, right? I'm their audience. I'm their subscriber. And so they post something, it fits perfectly with me, alignment all the way through. But sometimes they post stuff that's like, Zane Robe tour of Australia. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I mean, cool, bro. But like, I could go watch a travel channel for that, right? So it's alignment with that audience desire, community interest. Maybe you don't have the audience yet. Well, you can go look on competitor channels. You can look on social media. What's trending in the community? Like what's the larger community interested in? You know, our community on Think Media is actually most interested in Canon, not as much Sony. But the larger community right now, Sony cameras are growing like crazy because they're so good. Timing. When you actually put it out, you got to hustle sometimes. You want to be first. A friend of mine, Dave Altizer, he went to the same event we went to, CES, in January. And he stumbled upon a little niche camera that does 8K. 8K is pretty rare right now. It's not really happening yet. By Sharp, weird. Just like this weird, Sharp makes refrigerators and like washing machines. And now they're making an 8K camera. Weird also. Nevertheless, smart dude. Saw it and it was like, I'm going to be the first one to make a video about this. And so they shot the video at CES. And then they stopped everything, went to a room and edited the video. And sure enough, that video, first affordable 8K camera, it was total breakout, 178,000 views. Why? Timing. The timing of getting this video out first. And he put the hustle in. He sacrificed shooting a bunch of other videos at CES to go work on just the one video. Here's what's funny is we're basically competitors. We're friends too. But we went and shot like 10 videos that day. If you add up all the views of our 10 videos, well, maybe not all the views, but if you add up all the views of like 6 of our videos, it equals one of his. Why? Because he was first to a trend, he was first on timing, and it was a hot topic. A blog picked it up, a couple blogs, and that's also trends. What are the trends in your industry? What's trending right now that you could leverage, that you could use, that you could work on, incorporate in your channel? Because that is what will really move the needle for you. Here's the goal. You've got your target audience. And in your hypergrowth blueprint, you need to be clear on who you're talking to. The clearer you are and the closer you are to your target audience, the better. Number one. But in addition to that, you want to stack on what are the topics and trends that are happening right now. Okay, what are those? And by the way, if they're way out of alignment with your target audience, then you might want to think twice. If you remember in Hypergrowth Blueprint, we were talking about that DJI remote that was a little off-brand, a little too off-brand for us at Think Media. It might be really trending, but it might be out of alignment with your target audience. So these stack one on a. So you got your target audience. You're now identifying the hot topics and trends in your niche. And then you're considering the timing of when you should talk about that thing, create that video. That is your sweet spot. That's the video I want to make, right? And the overlap of those three circles are the topics and trends that you want to be focusing on for your channel. And when you put out a video that is built on a solid topic, one video, that's the foundation, and then you put a smart thumbnail, an interesting title that people want to click, you do your due diligence in the description, and you fill out your metadata based on research, you're giving it the greatest chance for success because you've gone through that pre-launch checklist. Combine that with what you've been learning in Hypergrowth Blueprint about launching it smart and getting as much velocity as you can, and you're on your way to massive growth on YouTube. So a quick summary here are what are some hot topics in your niche? No matter what your niche is, and you might say, well, it's nowhere near as hot as something trending in tech. Doesn't matter. It could be hot for your niche. Like what is just the buzzword, the buzz concept, what's happening in your niche? Think about that and how you can incorporate that. Use the pre-launch checklist on your next video with greater intentionality and attention to detail. And then also check out Video Ranking Academy. If you would say, our goal in this Hypergrowth Blueprint, 10 strategies, is to pick one strategy. Really go deep on it. If you would say, I'm feeling this, and you want to do this at a mastery level, then don't miss going through our academy called Video Ranking Academy if you haven't yet. If you're already familiar, or maybe you're already a graduate and a student of Video Ranking Academy, then you can layer sort of this focus on that topic. Research before you press record and focus on that topic, and lots of powerful things that can happen causing hypergrowth on your channel. Signature show flow. All right, hey, let's go, team. Strategy number 2. How's it going? There's a delay, so when I finish, I just open the door, but then they're like, oh wait, it takes like 10 seconds, and then they can come in from the other room. Hey, yo! Hypergrowth Blueprint. Hypergrowth.
All right. Got some questions coming in. Mel is over here on the side. Move my camera down a little. There we go. How's that look, Mel? Oh, I like it. All right. Questions coming in. Love the interaction happening in the chat. Mel, we have some winners of YouTube Secrets. YouTube Secret winner.
But let's do a question first.
Okay. Questions first. Great.
All right. One question is, let's see. I need to be super niche-y in my space, or I want to be super niche-y in my space.
Oh, right.
Does it make sense to search the keyword, like how to get started in graphic design, then add as a new mom, if that's my focus?
Yeah. So I was in the chat with Hartford Bride. What's your real name? I'd love to shout you out. So really great question. I love the way that you're thinking when you're saying, I want to go into this. We went a little deeper and she said, it's actually people switching from fashion design into UX design. And I definitely see the correlation of that. So if you want to speak to that niche, I just wanted to make sure that there was a niche in that niche. Like if you're the only person that's done that, I would make sure that that is, you know, something to talk to. Like, are there other people who want to know that? Or do people who are coming from creative careers want to switch to UX. That might be a different way to look at it. And maybe it's women, if you're speaking to women specifically, who have been in some type of a creative field and they want to switch into UX design because they've had that crossover. They understand design and now they want to get into more of the technical side. So you could be teaching a couple things. If you have successfully done this yourself, you could teach about the business side of it. Or you could like Jessica Stansberry is a really good example of someone who went from being a graphic designer to a YouTube teacher on how she did it. And so she teaches how she used YouTube to grow her graphic design business. So you could talk of the business side of it, like how do you become a UX designer and all the things that you did to do that, switching from a career that was creative before. Or you can talk to UX designers on actual UX design tactics. Like, how do you do X? How do you do Y? How do you format this? You can become the known person of how to do UX design. Or you can teach to women who are wanting to switch careers into UX design. So that really just goes for everyone. You want to make sure that you are knowing. I love how you're saying, I want to niche down. And that is the best place to start, is to be speaking to one person. But if you're going to be creating products and services, you just want to make sure that there's people who will buy those from you. All right, Mel, what's next for me? We had some questions about, is this going to be on a replay? Hypergrowth Blueprint is not on replay. So if you are part of Inner Circle, which is our monthly membership program, you have access to Hypergrowth Blueprint. And we'll be telling you a little bit more about that in a minute. And then if you are interested in getting started with Video Ranking Academy, Sean had mentioned it in this last piece of the training, you can go to startvra.com. Can someone type that in the chat for me? Startvra.com. And if you want to get access to our premium online course, that is the place to go to get the best deal that we have right now to get started in Video Ranking Academy. All right, what do we have coming in, Mel?
All right, John said apparently the audiobook is out now.
Oh, John, you know the leaked story that happened yesterday. Yes, the audiobook is out right now. And Mel will put the bit.ly link into the bit.ly link. You have that one for the audiobook. The audiobook for YouTube Secrets is out now, and you can actually get it for free if you go through our bit.ly link if you do not have an Audibles account. So if you sign up for an Audibles account, you can get it for free today. I mean, this book for free in your hands, in your ears today while you're going on your run this afternoon, while you're driving in your car, while you're doing your dishes. You could be listening to YouTube Secrets today for free if you go through our bit.ly link that Mel's going to put inside of the chat. Copy, paste it, put it in your browser. That's how you get it. Sign up for an Audible account. Download your first free Audible. I love it. All right. That'll also go in inside of Inner Circle. Mel will put that inside of Inner Circle's private mastermind Facebook group. She'll put that link inside of there for you as well if you want to do that. But who doesn't want a free audiobook? That's the best. What else do we have, Mel?
Right.
Where is the link? Mixed introversion. Mel's getting it to you real quick.
It'll take me 1 minute to
Yeah.
get it to you guys. But do we want to do the book giveaway?
Book giveaway. Book
All
giveaway.
We have For the Love of Sorted.
For the Love of Sorted, you get a physical copy of YouTube Secrets.
And Sister Sophia Art.
Sister Sophia Art. You also get a physical copy of YouTube Secrets. How do you claim that? You email us. I was like, there's so many places to go. You email us at hello@SeanCannell and say, I won the book, Mel, and she will get you that. That's your subject line. I won the book, Mel. Someone said, will videos be available in VRA? Chris and Yuki, this video, are you asking for? Oh, hi, Chris and Yuki. Those are my friends. They moved to Hawaii. Oh, this is so cool. So glad you're on. These videos will not be inside of Video Ranking Academy. They're inside of Inner Circle, our monthly membership program. All right, let's see what else. Congratulations to those book winners. Won the book. Okay, question came in from Pampered Life that Sean, do you want to answer that one on the thing or you want me to answer that? It is, should every thumbnail include text?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes, I thought that could go in this part. Okay, cool.
And then I'll jump in.
Okay. And then where is the purpose of notes feature on YouTube and how should we use it? purpose of the notes feature? I'm not sure what that one is. Denise, if you can give me a little bit more on that. And then the last question is, do you need to rename titles of previous videos? You want to, that's a great question to go in.
Perfect.
Okay. So Connie and Pampered Life, you guys are going to get your questions answered right now. And we're going to get all those links put inside of there for you guys. You got that, Mel? Do you have the link?
I don't have the bit.ly link.
I got you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I got it.
I have the Amazon.
Here is that link. Free audio book. Now, it's a free audio book if you go directly with this link and you sign up for an Audibles account. You get a free book when you sign up for an Audibles account, and that allows you to download this book instantly to your iPhone or your computer. Can you do it? Yeah, because it goes into Audibles. So if you have the Audibles app on your phone, you can go directly to it. All right. How you feeling, boss?
Great.
All right. Who is excited about number 3, your signature show? Oh, this is good. Sean's been really working on this part, and I am excited for you guys to hear about what is to come. This is some clarity stuff he's had for a few years that he's just sharing with you right here on Hypergrowth Blueprint. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. You've got your notes, Mel? Did she post the link?
Answer those
I
2
did.
questions in 2 videos.
Cool.
Boom, 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 boom. Can someone grab the door? All right. Quick questions. Should I? Okay. All right. Let's answer these quick questions really quick. 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, when it comes to the 4-step YouTube checklist and really maximizing your topic by optimizing your video with your thumbnails, your titles, your metadata, your tags, all of that stuff. Wow. Okay. Answer to question number 1. There's a few questions that come up when we are talking about optimizing your titles and your thumbnails. And the first one is, should every thumbnail include text? And the answer is no. Thumbnails can include text. Thumbnails can be powerful without text. I think the key is it depends on the context. It depends on the story you want to show. If the thumbnail is strong visually, if there's something eye-grabbing, if there's almost an emotion is something you definitely want to weave in thumbnails. A lot of times the thumbnail can almost be like, what is that? And then your eyes drift to the title, and the title explains what's in the thumbnail. Now, at times you should have text in your thumbnail. And I think the biggest mistake with text and thumbnails is 2 things. 1, too many words. I try to do like 4 at the max, like maybe 5. If you're putting like a paragraph in your thumbnail, there's no need to do that. And another mistake I see people make is they put all kinds of words, little graphics, and they're just, thumbnails become cluttered. Keep them clean, keep them, very visually and aesthetically pleasing so they're not even distracting and they don't confuse, because if you confuse, you lose. And clutter also kind of causes anxiety, and people don't like to click on clutter typically. So if you're going to use words, use minimal words. And also try not to, the second mistake I see people make is they just repeat what's in the title. If the video was how to stay motivated, on the thumbnail it says how to stay motivated. You're like, well, that was unnecessary. So think about the fact that they're the power twins. They work together. They complement each other. They don't need to repeat each other. Those are some tips for optimizing your thumbnails. Okay, throw that in that little section in the members area. Question number 2. Another question that comes up when we think about titling our videos is, should we change the title of previous videos? And I actually think the answer is yes, with one exception. The one exception is if the video is doing well. If the video is getting a lot of views while you snooze, meaning when you go into your studio beta and you look at the real-time traffic of that video. Remember, everything you look in your YouTube analytics can apply to your channel or a specific video. And so specific videos might be getting views while you sleep, if they rank in search, or if they're in suggested, or if for some other reason there's a blog somewhere on the internet linking to them. There's a lot of reasons why a video could be getting real-time traffic. If it is, you may not want to try to break something that's already working. However, if something is just stagnant, the video has plateaued, and the thumbnail, even the thumbnail and the title need work, feel free to change it. And if something's not working, feel free to change it. And I think that you may have a library of videos that are already great and the content's good, but maybe the marketing, the title and the thumbnail is not the best. Re-optimizing some of your old content could be very smart. The final tip I would say is I probably wouldn't re-optimize all of your old content. I would always add more love to the winners, like ones that are already winning, make them win even more. And halfway into my Think Media career, I realized that some of my old videos were still very valuable. So I went and updated the thumbnail of a few of them to make them more professional. But it was probably only about 10% of my library off of the first 5 years. I didn't want to worry about a lot of the average content I'd put out, but I did improve my best content. So yes, if you want to optimize some of your old content and then continue to share that on social media, because now it kind of has had a refresh, it's kind of been refaced. Now you actually have something that's kind of fresh and new to share with your community, and that could also perform even better on YouTube now because you've updated the title and maybe the thumbnail. 3, 2, 1. Going into our signature show. The third strategy is start a signature show. Start a signature show. One of the primary reasons people fail on YouTube is this: random acts of content. Now, random acts of kindness are amazing. Don't we need more of those? Come on, that we want to treat our neighbors better. We want to take care of our family better and just, give love and give kindness just for the sake of giving. It's amazing. But you know what the internet does not need more of? Random acts of content. And this is a big problem that keeps people stuck. That's why in the Hypergrowth Blueprint, we're all about you having clarity so you're not going in 100 different directions, so that you organize your focus, your strategy, your thinking into one very clear direction so you can make a big impact. And one of the best ways to do that is really with the show. I believe that's the remedy to being random, is starting a signature show. What do I mean? Well, a signature show is at a consistent time in a consistent place. If you think about it in history, we're maybe familiar with radio, or maybe familiar with TV and the way that people would host their talk show or their comedy show or their sitcom or their sports show, whatever it is. They'd say, hey, next week, same time, same place, right here on WMBF 95. You know what I mean? Like all these different things. So it's the same time. It's at the same place. Your signature show also would be a consistent format. It would have a consistent value proposition. The consistent format lets people know, oh man, it's double Jeopardy time. Come on, consistent time, consistent place. Van is spinning letters around for me. Consistent time, consistent place. I'm phrasing answers in the form of a question on Jeopardy. And now we're going through the same format, right? And the same value proposition. It's not like one night you're watching Sports Center and you're learning about sports, and then the next day they're like, you know what? We're just switching it up today. We're going to start reviewing the latest PC video games. You're like, what the heck is going on? Like they just broke show brand. But a signature show is going to have a consistent format, consistent value proposition, and then also consistent branding. When you start putting out a consistent show, it can have a consistent look. And so one of the great entrepreneurs on YouTube is Marie Forleo. In a way, she's kind of like an entrepreneurial Oprah of YouTube. And she's the host and founder, you can see in the lower right-hand corner here, of Marie TV. Now, who gave her permission to do Marie TV? Nobody. What TV station brought her on, or did she spend time to put her show on? None. Her show lives on YouTube. And we're living in an era where YouTube, I believe, is synonymous with ABC. ABC, NBC, CNN, YouTube, Facebook Watch. These are platforms, they're channels where you can host a show. And she's got a vision. It's an award-winning show, Marie TV. Now, throwback to our prior strategy, what's part of her show? Answering specific questions. Q&A Tuesday, your burning questions answered. And what's crazy is that over the years, she has over 500,000 subscribers, over 46 million views, and over $80 million in course sales. Yeah, you heard that right. Over $80 million so her business is fine, and it's been built partly by her signature show, her show. And you might be thinking, okay, cool. Well, looking at that picture though, I don't have a 6-figure budget for a team and production. Well, you don't need it, because her show started on this couch in this tank top with her laptop, just answering questions. So the cool thing about a show is that it's really, you could start it simple, but you can scale as you go. Well, is it just Marie TV that is doing this, or are other people doing it as well? This is Brennan Burchard, a well-known voice in the personal development space and the founder of the Brendan Show. Come on, say it with me. I might be saying this throughout. The show that he is running, it's the Brendan Show, right? Podcast he does on YouTube. Phil DeFranco, probably the leading news voice on YouTube, 6.3 million subscribers, has been building his show up consistently. It is the Phil DeFranco Show. Like, it's a show, and Monday through Thursday is the show, and Friday is kind of a community thing. And it's consistent branding. It's a consistent time. It's a consistent place. It's a consistent value proposition. It's a consistent format. Over here, you got Amy Landino, heavily inspired by Marie TV, Marie Forleo, and she's got Amy TV. And it's a consistent show on Sundays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. at consistent time, consistent place. She's building up momentum around it, consistent branding in her show. So there's a lot of benefits of starting a signature show. The first one's clarity. Clarity of what you're doing and when. And it's not just clarity for your audience, it's clarity for you. Because when you have a show, you're like, okay, well, we just got to get the show out this week. Every Tuesday, it's, we know what it is. I know what I'm doing. I do a weekly show. And your audience is like, yeah, I know what their promise is. They do a weekly show. It's their show. Say it with me, right? And so you got your clarity, simplicity, of what you do and also what you're known for. There's also simplicity of workflow. Like when you have a show, you're like, well, these are the sections. So now you get into a rhythm with it. And it's also easier to systematize. When you're just shooting out random acts of content, you might be able to do a little batch, but then you're back to the drawing board. What do we do next? What do we talk about next? And it's harder to put a smart system around it, but a show has simplicity that you could build around it. Consistency. You actually have increased motivation to stay consistent, and it's consistency for your audience, but it's also consistency for you. I got to get the show done. I worked at a church for a while, and we had our show here in Las Vegas of the pastor's message. And when we were committed to that, it was like, no matter what, it was actually, we submitted the show on a tape to the TV station. They had to get that tape every week. When you set that North Star that we have a show, and especially when we were paying money to buy time, that show had to be turned in every week. Consistency for you and also consistency for your audience. Branding. This is so with branding on a show, you can be memorable. Random isn't memorable. Maybe someone watched a one-off hit from you, but they kind of didn't know what you were about, and they may never come back for any other shows. But when they start seeing consistent branding, and you start seeing a consistent jingle, or you start seeing that consistent opener, and you start seeing that consistent taglines and phrases, and some of the things that we're putting in here, I'm not saying you have to start a show. You can just pump out content with clarity based off your clarity worksheet. But what I am saying is you might want to start a show because you can create a branding package for it to keep it simple and consistent. Authority. When you start a show, you're the founder of a show now. Marie TV. I'm the founder and host of Marie TV. Did you get permission to be a founder? Nah, I just started it. I turned the camera on and I sat on a couch and answered questions. Authority, though. And then eventually it became award-winning. I don't even know who gave her the award. Was it like a blogger overseas that runs bestshow.com? No one... It doesn't... Who knows? When you watch a movie and it's like the most gripping thriller of the summer. And the person who did it was Joe from Minnesota's blog.com. And you're like, well, that must... It's a good quote, though. You know what I mean? But authority, when you can start a show, it builds your brand. You become known as the host, the founder, right, of a show, right? Maybe you do 100 episodes, and now you really have authority in depth because of your show. Momentum. Momentum for viewers. Viewers start like, oh man, I watch this every week. I like this every week. They have something to come back to. Momentum, as you start building your show and your audience, it becomes more sellable to brands. You've created a format that allows you to plug in potentially brand deals to produce income. It can help you get collabs and interviews. Momentum, because maybe you have to start lean and you don't know anybody and you don't got any connections, but 1 year, 2 year, 3 years later, you're the founder of a show. Entrepreneur on Fire is a weekly podcast, and I think it's 7 days a week. And because John Lee Dumas started and he stayed consistent, now pretty much anybody who's anybody has been on his show because he built momentum. He created a segment, he created some branding. And then the final one is sustainability. Remember, the Hypergrowth Blueprint is about success over the long term, not just success with one viral video, one breakout video. So when you have a show, people can rally around the fact that year after year, you can sustain it. Because it is more scalable when you know actually what you're doing. You don't sit down and think, man, I got writer's block, man. I don't know what to talk about next. You just need to get the next episode of your show done, right? And so is this happening? Is anybody on the internet doing this? Well, Casey Neistat launched a new show recently. It's actually called 368, the first episode. And even though he's done random videos and still does, and even though he's vlogged, his most recent thing was starting a show. And he's actually had a show on HBO before. He had a daily vlog. It's no longer daily. He learned that actually burnt him out. But now he's got the 368 show, right? The largest independent YouTuber in the world is PewDiePie. And he has 4 shows every week. Meme Review, Pew News, You Laugh, You Lose, Last Week I Asked You, where he asks questions and then the audience reply. He'll throw out a question or kind of like a challenge and the audience replies in Reddit and he interacts with that content. He's got 4 shows and he's the largest YouTuber on YouTube. He's actually also posted content about 6 days a week. How can he sustain it? Well, these show formats and these shows are sustainable. If he's actually got a couple editors now, so he does a lot of reaction content. So he's actually using the internet's content to just react to. But nevertheless, he's got 4 shows. Maybe you need a show. The Peter McKinnon, who's put a lot of hard to produce, a lot of crazy videos out there and continues to, recently started what looks like it's going to be a react show. Filmmaker reacts to crazy Hollywood thing or crazy camera angles. And now as he sits there, he is reacting to different moves and things that people have accomplished and how they did it. He's starting to show a little more sustainable. And if you want more examples, this is Ryan Higa, based actually here in Las Vegas, one of the OG YouTubers of all time, who's put out a bunch of huge videos, multiple millions of views. Sometimes his production value, some of his videos take weeks to make, huge teams to make, huge budgets to make, but he recently launched a show, right? It's called the Off the Pill Podcast, but it's actually starts on video, and now he's uploading it online. And look, that got 3 million views. This got 500,000. This got 300,000. So this show is less viewed, but more sustainable. So now, and it's adding to the stuff they're already doing. So he recently started a show. Are you getting this? This is Ruslan, who recently came to our event called Grow with Video in Las Vegas, and he's building his influence. He's building it day by day, brick by brick. He's early stage still. So every week he goes live listening to your music. He's a producer, he's a rapper himself, but he brings on guests, or he listens to music, reacts to it live, 29 people watching, building it up, 1 viewer at a time, 1 follower at a time. But check out his stats, putting out 8 videos a month. 4 of those are this show, and it's sustainable. And he grew by 234 subscribers, right? He's getting traction, but he's got a consistent show. It's a live stream where he reacts, responds, and kind of gives a critique and feedback on people's music. I was talking to Palin from Palin's Kitchen on her path to going full time, and she said her dream was to be on traditional TV and have her own show. Then she realized she doesn't need traditional TV, so she just started her own cooking show, video every Friday. It's her show, 735,000 subscribers, traditional book deal, and now she's actually been invited on TV. Now she's got more authority. She's got all this stuff going for her. You can go to her videos, look at her most old videos, and they're not that well produced because you could start your show simple, but you can scale it over time. Point is, start a show. Gary Vee, the well-known author and social media influencer and businessman, has multiple shows, but 4 that I could identify is the Ask Gary Vee show, right? Daily V is a show. Trash Talk is a show where he goes to garage sales and then flips stuff on eBay. Original Films are shows where you take one concept and it's all edited together. He's got these buckets, these shows on his channel. And in a recent video, I caught this. Now, Gary has been a big influence in my life, and I read his book Crush It way back in 2009, and partly responsible, or maybe majority responsible, for putting me on the path today that I'm on. And Gary, though, one thing people don't realize about him is that he's actually more of a businessman than a social media influencer, but he has massive influence on social media. The way he does that is he's got about 20 people full-time working on his personal brand, including actually one of my good friends, Caleb Ralston, is his main videographer for right now, traveling with him. And he said this, though, in a recent video, because he's like, look, Gary Vee, like my personal brand, is barely any of my time, because he devotes his time managing 700 employees plus offices around the world and different things going on. But he said this: if I was doing Gary Vee full time, and I quote, if I was Gary Vee full time, I'd have an internet show distributed on all platforms from 7 to 10 a.m. every morning, answering questions. Answer specific answers to specific. What's crazy, right? Show, like start a show. What he would do is put a show out there, and he would do it consistently. So start a show, and check out this cross-platform strategy, because when you think about starting a show, even though we're talking about YouTube, I want you to think a little bit at a higher level, because YouTube is kind of one option, but if you produce it right, you could have a show that is cross-platform, real easy. So here's Jay Bear. He helps companies get customers for free. And listen to this on his YouTube channel as he puts his channel trailer on. I've got 3 shows that will make you a better marketer and a better business person. Very powerful, yeah? And I was just hanging out with him at Social Media Marketing World, and he was breaking down all of his, I was asking him questions about his shows. He's like, look, so I produce 1 show a week. Now, he recently wrote a book, Talk Trigger, so it's super smart. He wants to push that book more. So his book's doing great, and he thought, I want to kind of build a brand around it and keep the conversation going around my book. So I'm going to have the Talk Trigger show. What it's going to be is 1 case study of a company that either did good or bad, and that is kind of amplifying the message in the book. It's always going to be 7 minutes or less, setting constraints on your show so that it could be consistent. And he, here it is. Here's some branding for it. And then it's posted over here on YouTube. Now, you might also go, well, he's only got 81 views, man. What's happening? What's the deal? And that's not hypergrowth. Well, let's look a little bit deeper. This is 876 views over on LinkedIn. Same show, uploaded natively on LinkedIn. Here's some micro content from the same episode that's got 1,396 views. And I was talking to him, and he said, look, if I put effort into any one piece of content, it's got to go to at least 8 places, because it takes too much time, money, and energy to produce content. So I need to be smarter. So the Talk Trigger show is platform agnostic. And I thought it through so that it could live, of course, on YouTube and have call to actions on YouTube, but have different variations for the different platforms. Here's his website, Introduction to the Talk Triggers show, right? And so here it is on the podcast. So he's got a podcast, LinkedIn show, YouTube show, but it doesn't matter. Those are just distribution channels. Notice what Gary Vee said. I'd start a cross-platform. I distribute it on all channels, and I'd do a talk show from 7 to 10 every morning, or in answering questions. And so think about how you could create a show. And don't let some of this branding and some of this stuff be intimidating. To be honest, it actually is just the assembly of a few simple elements. He just stands in front, it's probably at his home office, just stands in front of a little shelf he created, talks into his camera, and then all the branding elements were created once. Because the Talk Trigger show branding's done now. The way the titles look are done now. So now it's systematizable. It may be a little heavy lifting to get the cool, like pink and all that stuff going first. But once it's done, then you can just keep building it and sustain it out across platform because you have the branding package done. And so the cool thing that you could do is systematize and scale your show. And I'll explain that in a second. But this actually is what we have created our inner circle community for. One reason is because of the ongoing like tips and strategies and refining of really your signature show, like, or your consistent content, right, that you're putting out online. So I highly recommend that if you'd want like ongoing training like this. We do it every month, but we do a weekly interview show over on Video Influencers. And the way it goes is like this. There's an intro, there's a little logo thing, a little branded thing. It was created once. We've been using it for a year and a half. There's a little ad spot. Now keep in mind, that ad spot, we could cut it out. We have worked with brands and work with brands, but then we also just promote our own stuff. Conditioning that like there's always going to be a little ad spot here. So we can put our own, it could be a webinar, could be our book, could be whatever, because it's a show and it's our show. So we can do what we want, right? So we have our own little ad spot. And if we want to do a brand deal, remember, it's easier to scale and work with the brand because you're like, I already got a show. Well, I'd love to be a part of it. Well, I'll sell you an ad spot in 4 episodes. Maybe you're just starting. How much? $100 an episode, $400 deal. I'm going to put the ad at the beginning of this weekly show. Oh, and by the way, my show is cross-platform. So my total reach and all the total views I get, 10,000 an episode. Maybe only get 100 on YouTube. Start your show, right? Ad spot content. We go through the content. Lightning round. What segments, what little quirky parts, what interesting aspects of your show could you incorporate that make it a little bit different? I mentioned before Amy Landino, a friend of mine, and we talked about her show. She has a little segment that is like Twitter Love or something, where she always shouts out a person who retweeted the last episode, acknowledges them, and encourages other people to do it. Little segments that you can pick up and that you could incorporate in your show. But think about, this is systematized and scalable. The reason I'm able to go to an event and do a whole batch of these interviews all at once is because there's a framework. It's like a template. And so we just fill in these pieces and then assemble the show. You always got to ask the question of the day. In our show, we do. So there's the question of the day. Then there's your outro. And remember what we learned in Hypergrowth Blueprint. Now we're using the end screen elements. We're cross-linking to other shows in the interview series, right? And using the end cards. We are giving those calls to action. We want to keep people time on platform. If you liked this interview, you maybe want to check another one out because you're already here for the value proposition that we started with 4 years ago. Get clear. What do you want to build? Keep it simple. Start simple and scale as you go. And here's the thing. Start simple. Our stuff's looking pretty fancy these days. 4K, couple microphones. We got a team. We got people helping us. It's not always like that. Start simple. Here's the first video influencers interview I did. I'm on a selfie stick right here. Got like my phone on there. Hey, what's up? Sean here with Video Influencers. In this video, you don't have to do this, but I said in this video, I have a feature interview with James Wedmore. Little bumper. Hey, we were refining our message, helping you crush it with video. Our tagline wasn't even fully formed yet, but we were clear enough. We launched out, tweaked it as we go. And then we had, I recorded my video in the worst quality that I've ever recorded in my life. I don't know how it could get more pixelated than this, but it looks like I took a camera lens, shoved it into a pile of dirt, and then put an SD card underneath the rock on the pile. And this is what came out on the other side. It's amazing. But hey, it works. And then interviewed James Wedmore over Skype, recorded it, saved it, and then just shot a little intro. And this was an early show. And now we're still doing it to this day. And if that's not simple enough, start simpler than that. The first interview on Video Influencers was Benji talking to Timothy Delgado on Skype with like nothing else happening. Like we'd have logos yet. We didn't have anything going on yet necessarily. And they just talked with horrible audio quality, horrible lighting, blurry faces, sideways background. But today we are where we are in our brand. Why? Because we started and scaled our show. I hope you're saying it at home. Come on, wherever you are in your car, like you gotta launch your show, right? Am I right? So just start a show. Summary. Study other shows and brainstorm ideas. I think one of the coolest things you can do here is look at what other people are doing and then maybe say, okay, that could fit into my show. We do the lightning round because John Lee Dumas does. I was like, that's cool. It's a really fun, fast way to start asking quirky questions that aren't so serious and about business. So let me pull the lightning round into our show. He didn't invent lightning rounds. Lightning rounds have been around. You know what I mean? So you can maybe pull in a lightning round. You go, oh, I like Amy's thing about a Twitter, but in fact, I'm going to do Instagram stories instead. You could pull elements and plan your show, plan your structure, and experiment. So step one is really kind of maybe study some other shows and brainstorm ideas. Step two is start simple and scale over time. And step three, get help with branding unless, and I hesitate to say this, unless you're already good at branding. But even if you think you're good at branding, you might not be good at branding. But if you're self-aware enough and you know that you're great at branding, then go for it. But what I mean is, if you're not yourself great at graphic design, if you, even when it comes to developing a brand, and now I'm talking about colors, logos, you only have to do it once on a show. Truly. Because once you get your little branding kit, so I'm not saying you need to have a brand going from day one necessarily, but early on, eventually I would want to maybe invest unless you can create it yourself. And it's probably like 99 out of 100 of us that could get those elements going. I don't think Jay Bear created all his Talk Triggers graphics, but his branding package now goes on every single Talk Trigger show, and he's there to deliver the content and figure it all out. So get help with branding to build out your signature show, and then create a pilot. Create a pilot. Don't also think that, Sean, this seems overwhelming. I don't know if I can commit to a show for the next 10 years. Well, then don't. Like, try to just get an episode done first. I mean, before we even worry about whether or not you should commit to this for the rest of your life, just do 1 or 2 or 3 episodes. Bounce them off some people. See if you like it. See what you could tweak about it. Just like a TV show pilot, they invest a little bit of time, a little bit of resource to get a show done, and then they see how it works. They see if it could be refined, and then eventually it gets the green light and it gets funded and they go all in. So maybe experiment with a couple of different shows, a couple different formats, a couple different things. Don't even call it a show for a while. Just call them the fact that you should be putting out regular videos, but you're finding your voice, your cadence, your rhythm, and you're strategizing your signature show. But then eventually you might go, okay, this is it. And what I've learned when you study the greats, a Brennan Burchard, a Marie Forleo, who are some of the largest, at least in the experts industry space that I pay attention to, they're also the most consistent over the longest period of time. So people always look at their show and they're like, man, look at the views. I don't know if I'll ever get that. They started a decade ago, really. And they started simple. But they stayed committed to a plant their flag show over years, and it built such a powerful brand from staying consistent with a consistent message, consistent show, consistent value proposition, consistently showing up, and giving yourself some constraints so you know, look, yeah, I might do some stories today. I might do this YouTube thing over here. I might go live on YouTube. I might do a million other things, but maybe, but the one thing I'm going to do no matter what is my show. And I'm going to be consistent on my show for 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. And friends, that's when magic can really happen, when you get clear on a show and when you build it out over time. I want to encourage you with these 10 strategies. You don't need all of them. Some of them overlap, but I want you to pick one. This might be one of the ones you want to plant your flag on. You might want to say, okay, I know I should start a show. Maybe I want to consider doing it cross-platform. I know it's going to take work. I know there's more work to do, but I can see how powerful this is. And I think all of us, even if we take some elements from this, we can improve our videos, but we should be considering, should we start a signature show? Boom, shakalaka. So I wonder if we should, if there's any good questions on signature shows, or if I should still keep going, Heather and family. Was anybody saying show with me when I started saying show? Hey, Ronnie.
Everyone was loving show. Everyone said it. People were typing in show.
Show.
So good.
Is there any relevant questions for that one?
There are. Do you want to do yours first or mine first? Or what are you feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah. One's mine, one's yours. I left it in here. We have matching phones. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, matching phones, and so it's all about the screensaver. All right. All right, Mel.
Show.
Who's ready to have their show? Okay. Hey, Kyle.
Yes.
I want to be able to pull up desktop. I want to show some examples. Where's
You
that?
want a screen share?
Oh. Kyle's going to set me up here. This is a great time to grab that water. Perfect. Okay. So question came in. Mel.
Do you want to do about the thumbnail?
So the thumbnail is just the same name. Okay. So, for the love of sorted said, so the thumbnail is just the same name for each, and the title would be a different topic, or would you put the show title in the title too? Okay, so a couple things I want to show you. Okay, cool. Thanks, Kyle. Here's an example. Grant Cardone. He's a businessman, real estate man, and he has a couple different shows on his channel. And now every time someone says it. Now he's a couple different shows happening on his channel. They have the G&E show. See, they just do like a little branding here. And then they have the Cardone Zone. And then they have, let's see, they have other ones. Let me show you the other, uploads all videos. They have some other shows as well. They have Power Players. This is a show that he does where he interviews people. They have, what's the other one that we like? A Cardone show. Yep. So they have a couple different here, a G&E show. So they have a couple different shows that are on their channel. Now, they don't put the title in the show itself. They actually are doing search term, answering questions about relationship. Kind of. It's kind of a search term. But if we look at video influencers, fade back. Okay, if we look at video influencers, which is what Sean was using as the example for today, and we look at ours, the thumbnails are not show relative, but it usually is like Benji and the person he's interviewing, Sean and the person he's interviewing, Benji and the person he's interviewing, right? Or because that's their interview show, and then their tips show is the one of Sean and Benji. You'll notice the title isn't saying like interview with such and such person. Now, some of them do, but most of them don't. So like this interview here that Sean was showing with Micah Stauffer, 10 practical tips for going full-time on YouTube. That's a searchable term. So even though the show is a staple on your channel, it doesn't actually have to have like specific branding for what it is. Now you can choose to do that if you'd like to, or you just make the thumbnail itself. But those are two options. I wanted you to see both of those options for the thumbnails specifically. All right. Young Everyday says, are these shows different channels, or how are they separated within one channel? Hopefully, Young Everyday, that answered the question for you. If you are starting with the minimum, here's the thing. If you are producing one video a week, you want to be having that be a consistent show. Now, you could be like if you have 4 videos coming out in 1 week or in 1 month, you could say week 1 is this show, week 2 is this show, week 3 is this show, week 4 is this show. But it's consistent so that your audience is understanding the value proposition of your channel. So you can host 3 shows or 2 shows or 1 show on every single, on the same channel. But you want to be consistent in when that show comes out and the value of what you're offering. So even when we look at like Marie TV, Marie Forleo, when we go back and look at Marie Forleo as an example, she has 2 show formats. Her first show format is her interviewing. She has an interview show, kind of like Oprah. But her second format, which is what she started with before she knew all these amazing people, before she was connected in all of these different circles, it was her own show. She just started answering questions like Sean said. So her show is actually just her And now she has multiple, I figured it out. Now she has multiple as in two shows that she carries out on her channel. And you'll notice here, she's doing why every growing business needs to hire help. And then she's also actually putting the person's name. So she's not necessarily doing search-based topics. Because she has a large following, millions and millions of people, she's able to step outside the box of search term specific because she's speaking to her own audience now. But that gives you an example of 2 show formats on Marie TV. Now, another thing I wanted to show you was, there was a question, Mel, that came in about, can you do different shows on the same channels? I might have missed that. Okay, so when Sean was talking about, how you can actually have different shows on the same channel and just do them like a pilot series, my friend Angela, who owns This Gathered Nest, which is now called Angela Braniff, she changed this, but like the actual name of her channel is This Gathered Nest. They actually purchased an RV and they did I think it's 10-part series. Here we go, season 1. They actually sold ad spots for their RV trip. They went on an RV trip. They had grown a following. They had worked with some other brands, and they were actually sponsored on their RV trip. So season 1 started here, and I think they did like 7 episodes, and that was season 1. And so within her larger format of being a vlogging channel, sharing her family's life, they, on top of that, also get sponsors for actual pilots. So they are doing a pilot show, which was different. They called This Traveling Nest, which was just the show name underneath This Gathered Nest. So I hope that gives you some ideas. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to be like your show that you're committing to every single week. Maybe you're doing a holiday series, and your holiday series, you have an actual, you are maybe speaking to homemakers, or you're speaking to people who need to organize. Let's say that one of those two. You could have just a holiday series show that only happens during the holiday time, and that's when that show happens. But I would definitely dedicate yourself to one show format on your channel. So when I look at my homeschool channel, I have an interview show, I have a Q&A show, and I have a behind the scenes show. Those are my 3 shows that I have on my homeschool channel. And I keep them within those 3 very specific show formats because that makes it easier. I'm just like you. This is not, my homeschool channel is not my full-time thing. So I have to figure out ways to make it fit into my schedule. And the best way I've learned to do that is what Sean was teaching, is having show formats so that you can quickly get those shows produced. All right, Mel, what else do we have coming in? Let's see. Rachel says, how to videos, upload, use the various platforms. Is that inside Thinks Media's repertoire, or do we Google that? Okay, so like how-to videos of like how to make videos on certain platforms, or give me some more information, Rachel, because we have a couple different things. We have Video Ranking Academy, which is our actual online premium course that people do pay to be included into. That is an online course, which you're a part of a course to be able to even be watching this stream right now. But free tutorials on YouTube, we have like how to upload a video. We don't have that specific video. That would be YouTube itself. Like YouTube itself gives out really good tutorials on those type of things. But I'm trying to think of what mostly you're talking about there, Rachel. The basics of like how to start a YouTube channel. We have one, Sean did a great video that explains how to start. What is it called? It's called How to Start a YouTube Channel. How to start a YouTube channel. Where is it?
Also, just let you know, Sean's going to do that last one on the list.
Oh, that's great. Here we go. How to set up your YouTube channel. This is the one you're going to want to look for, Rachel. This is the how to set up your YouTube channel. This is like the basics of it for you. All right, Mel, what else do I have? If you are just tuning in, we are in the middle of Hypergrowth Blueprint. And if you did not happen to join us yesterday, but you want to get access to Hypergrowth Blueprint, you can become, can we get the inner circle link again? Mel will get that to you. Yep. Okay, cool. If you want to get access to Hypergrowth Blueprint, we are opening up the doors to Inner Circle only for today for people who are watching this stream. So if you are a customer of ours, which you are, you'll have access to be able to join our Inner Circle, which is our exclusive monthly live coaching with Sean Cannell himself and me. And we go on once a month and we train you on a different topic of online business. And we really dive into a lot of different aspects of business when it comes to starting and growing that business online. All right, I'm just reading things at the same time.
That link is going to be thinkinnercircle.com.
Okay, thinkinnercircle.com. If you guys can type that in there for me, thinkinnercircle.com. And I'll have more info for you coming up in a little bit as well. So let's see. I'd love to hear what your guys' aha moments are so far. So we've gone through the first 3 so far, and I'm really excited to hear what your guys' aha moments are. Okay. Thank you for typing that in. Thinkinnercircle.com. Very cool. Love seeing your guys' comments in there. Mel, any giveaways this time?
We don't have any giveaways for this round, but
Okay.
I think we're good on questions, but we're going to have Sean answer a few.
Cool. Sean's going to answer a few questions that came in about starting your show.
Who's ready to start their show? Oh, wow. I think that's just been over. Okay, cool. Great.
Camera? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple questions that we'll put inside of the show module video section. Okay. A lot of them. So, Kyle, 1 question, 1 video. Here we go. Okay. Now, when it comes to creating your signature show, there is a lot of questions that can come up, especially in light of our overall YouTube blueprint. One was, I've stumbled on, okay. Now, when it comes to creating your signature show, you might be wondering, how does this fit into the overall bigger picture of the YouTube Hypergrowth Blueprint? For example, if I want to rank videos for specific keywords, what if those are not aligned with how I would title my show? In fact, a question came in that said, I'm stumped on how to create a signature show that can also consistently rank. How should we approach that idea generation process? A couple options. Number 1, your show doesn't have to be your only strategy. A lot of us might be creating 2-3 videos a week, and maybe only one of your videos is a show. Number 2, if you were to create a show that is less rankable, you could do it like Jay Bear and create a system that also allows you to dominate social media across the board. Know that ranking is not the only strategy. Ranking is an amazing YouTube strategy. I think it's the most important YouTube strategy because you get views while you snooze, but it's not the only strategy. Videos can be found because of being shared or virality, especially when they go on other platforms. So the things don't have to be in conflict. What I mean is, let's say you were to do 2 videos a week. 1 video a week could be your Tuesday show, more about connecting with your audience, building momentum, people falling in love with it, people subscribing, people coming back for more. Or number 2, and then your second video would be very search-based content meant to grow your audience, go reach new people, bring them in, and then maybe at the end of every video, you say, hey, and subscribe on this channel because I do 2 things a week. Every Tuesday, I've got my show, and then every Thursday, we do a tutorial video to help you do whatever. And you can do both. One is generating new audience. One is your show. The final thing I would say is that your show could very much rank. So when we look at someone like Marie Forleo, a lot of her titles and the way she bases her show are based on searching. In fact, our YouTube interview series on video influencers, our show, is always based on search. Like those titles have ranked commonly, often, the majority of the time, because we structure the content still around that one question or a searchable question or a topic. So it's not always going to be rankable or even titled like a ranking video, but it either could be, it could be, or it could also, you could do ranking on another day or another video and just build momentum around your show. Question 2 about shows. One of the other questions that comes in is how would you, okay. All right. Another question that comes up when we think about potentially starting a signature show is, should I start a second channel then if I'm starting something completely new, or should I start it on my current channel? And 9 out of 10 times I'd recommend do it on your current channel. The reason why is it's hard to do 2 things well at the same time. It's much easier to build the subscribers up of one channel than to try to build the subscribers up of 2 channels simultaneously. And considering that your YouTube channel is very much like a TV channel, like AMC or Comedy Central or CNN. And those channels have multiple different shows. And so you can have a Tuesday show, or it could be a Saturday show on your YouTube channel, but then you could also upload whenever else you want as well. What you've done though with the show is you've planted your flag and you've said, look, no matter what, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., you get the show. And then know that it's your YouTube channel though. If you want to upload 3 videos next week on Tuesday through Wednesday, it's a free world. You could totally do that. You especially would still want those to be on brand and with clarity to your overall vision. But at the end of the day, I would keep it on one channel. The exception to that is if your show is off brand, or if for some reason you want to kind of start from scratch, because it's basically a brand pivot that would be the reason for a second channel. If you're shifting away to a different brand, then maybe it'd go on a second channel, but stick with one. That's my best tip. How do different shows on the same channel? Okay. Okay. Another question that comes up with shows is, can you do different shows on the same channel? And the answer is absolutely yes. Another good example of shows is a real estate and business expert named Grant Cardone. So he has one YouTube channel, his first and last name, but he has multiple different shows on his YouTube channel, including Power Players, where he interviews people, answering questions about relationships, his show with his wife, or at times she'll do it solo. He has a Young Hustler show that he does with Jared Glant on his team. And oftentimes Jared will do that solo as well. And then he's got the Cardone Zone, which is his own show. And so he has these different brands, these different shows on his channel. He does them all in his studio like this, and behind him he's got graphics. But remember, start small and scale. If you look at his history, he's been posting on YouTube for a long time. He was sitting in a dingy office with a corded microphone, just doing his show. And he's built up these shows over the years. And so I would recommend, yes, you can have one channel, one brand, kind of one big promise, and potentially multiple individual shows underneath it. However, for most of us, even us that maybe are more further along in our businesses, maybe we even have a team, maybe we're even scaling, I always recommend try and only launch one thing at a time. Don't try to launch 4 shows. Get one show launched, get it sustainable, get comfortable with it, see if it's getting results, figure out how it can be sustainable, and then maybe add on another show later. But yes, those shows could live on one channel. Okay, can you give some examples of shows outside of the expert? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Now, another question that comes up with shows is, Sean, your examples have been heavily with the expert industry, whether it's Marie TV or The Brendan Show or even Grant Cardone. These are all kind of like personal development type of people. However, remember in the training, I talked about PewDiePie with Meme Review, and I talked about Casey Neistat with 368, which is more of a vlogging lifestyle show. A couple other examples are First We Feast. That's a show. There's a lot of food related shows. I think cooking shows are a big opportunity. I think you can do a lot of different react shows. People in our community react to K-pop. We have different shows where you could just show up each week and do a lot of different things. You know, niches it's actually really crash and burn right in the middle there. That might be an edit. Edit this, Kyle. I'm not going to keep going on this one. All right. I would say this, even though I've been using examples of large channels and big YouTubers, it applies for channels of all sizes, and everybody starts with 0. And so again, Paylin's Kitchen, she started her cooking show as a small YouTuber, a YouTuber with 0 subscribers. Marie TV started her personal development, business development show with 0 subscribers. And so your show could be related to gaming. It could be related to weekly home decor tips. It could be related to movie reviews. It could be related to bringing on guests and interviewing guests. It could be related to having a different comedian every week or some sort of a joke. It could be a kid's show or a children's show that could be based on entertainment. It could really be about anything. The bigger picture is the reason you want to start a show is for the reasons we mentioned, for the consistency, for the momentum, for the branding, for the simplicity, for the scalability. Starting a show is just a good idea, and if you can incorporate it into your brand and your niche, it'll be very powerful. Okay, last question under shows. Now, another question that comes up with our show is, what do we name it? And that is a conversation for probably another time at a big level, but a few tips are this. You can always start with just your name, and I don't think that's a bad thing to do. Marie TV, Amy TV. Or you can just pick a name. 368 by Casey Neistat is just the address of the building where they're building out a cool place for creators to connect. You could start out a video influencers interview show. Doesn't even have a name. It's just a weekly interview show. And to be honest, we could do a better job at Think Media of starting a show. I don't have really a show on Think Media. I've got 2 categories of videos that I do. The best tips, YouTube tips, social media strategy, and then the best tools for online video. But even as we record this course, we have lots of show plans that we've been working on for months. In fact, we've been working with Heather and the team and thinking through the kinds of shows that we want to ultimately produce. So what you name your show is really up to you. And the reason your show is going to win and be successful is because of the content. It's because of the audience and the community that you connect with and you build with. And so don't ever think that a name made someone famous. Someone actually added value, got big, and now we understand the name. You take a name of companies, like a name like Google, doesn't even mean anything. You take but it means a lot to us now because they provided a service and we all use Google and it's become a household name. So yeah, if nobody knows you, it doesn't matter. It could still be the Brendan Show and you just build out your promise. So your 2 options are to start with like your first and last name or your first name, or to do a branded show. I'm so glad this question was asked though, because if no one knows you, it might be better to brand, to do a show name that is branded around the promise of the show. So if you were to say Marketing Weekly or Marketing Tips Tuesday or Saturday Cooking with Sam, then people know what they're getting. If you were to say Caribbean Cooking with Sam, now you're extremely focused. How do you niche down a certain type of cuisine, a certain day of the week, a certain value proposition? And so naming is definitely a conversation, and there's some great resources out there on coming up with powerful names. But know that a lot of times the name is going to become powerful because you put in the work, you put in the hustle. So pick something strong, pick something clear, stick with it, and then get to work building your show. All right, friends, let's jump into the next module, next video in our 10 strategies. I think I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. How you feel? You guys tired? Show, Kendall says. Yes. All right, excuse me. Just kind of great. 3.
When did you want to restart?
Oh yeah. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna actually restart. I'm gonna go straight into it though. So I know if you gotta get lunch, you gotta come do your thing. But I'm going to restart. So here's what happens. I turn this off. we're staying on this page. So I hope you're on the watch page. But if you're on the watch page, all you got to do is refresh a couple times. I'll be fired back up with strategy number 4, and we're restarting the stream right now. Refresh will be right here, and we'll try to get that message out there.